The Law of Respect, Chapter 7. People naturally follow leaders stronger than themselves. If you had seen her, your first reaction might not have been respect. She wasn't a very impressive looking woman, just a little over 5 feet tall, in her late 30s, with dark brown weathered skin. She couldn't read or write. The clothes she wore were coarse and worn. When she smiled, she revealed that her top 2 front teeth were missing. She lived alone. The story was that she had abandoned her husband when she was 29. She gave him no warning. One day he woke up and she was gone. She talked to him only once after that, years later, and she never mentioned his name again afterward. Her employment was erratic. Most of the time, she took domestic jobs in small hotels, scrubbing floors, making up rooms, and cooking. But just about every spring and fall, she would disappear from her place of employment, come back broke, and work again to scrape together what little money she could. When she was present on the job, she worked hard and seemed physically tough. But she also was known to suddenly fall asleep. Sometimes in the middle of a conversation, she attributed her affliction to a blow to the head she had taken during a teenage fight. Who would respect a woman like that? The answer is the more than 300 slaves who followed her to freedom. Out of the South, they recognized and respected her leadership. So did just about every abolitionist in New England. The year was 1857. The woman's name was Harriet Tubman. A leader by any other name. While she was only in her 30s, Harriet Tubman came to be called Moses because of her ability to go into the land of captivity and bring so many of her people out of slavery's bondage. Tubman started life as a slave. She was born in 1820 and grew up in the farmland of Maryland. When she was 13, she received the blow to her head and troubled her all her life. She was in a store, and a white overseer demanded her assistance so that he could beat an escaping slave. When she refused and blocked the overseer's way, the man threw a 2-pound weight that hit Tubman in the head. She nearly died, and her recovery took months. At age 24, she married John Tubman, a free black man, but when she talked to him about escaping to freedom in the North, he wouldn't hear of it. He said that if she tried to leave, he'd turn her in. When she resolved to take her chances and go north in 1849, she did so alone, without a word to him. Her first biographer, Sarah Bradford, said that Tubman told her, "I had reasoned this out in my mind. There was one of 2 things. I had a right to liberty or death. If I could not have one, I would have the other. For no man should take me alive. I should fight for my liberty as my strength lasted, and when the time came for me to go, the Lord would let them take me." Tubman made her way to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania via the Underground Railroad, a secret network of free blacks, white abolitionists, and Quakers who helped escaping slaves on the run. Though free herself, she vowed to return to Maryland and bring her family out. In 1850, she made her first return trip as an Underground Railroad conductor, someone who retrieved and guided out slaves with the assistance of sympathizers along the way. Each summer and winter, Tubman worked as a domestic, scraping together the funds she needed to make return trips to the South, and every spring and fall she risked her life by going south and returning with more people. She was fearless, and her leadership was unshakable. Hers was extremely dangerous work. And when people in her charge wavered or had second thoughts, she was strong and steel. Tubman knew escaped slaves who returned would be beaten and tortured until they gave information about those who had helped them. So she never allowed any people she was guiding to give up. "Dead folks tell no tales," she would tell a faint-hearted slave as she put a loaded pistol to his head. "You go on or die." Between 1850 and 1860, Harriet Tubman guided out more than 300 people, including many of her family members. She made 19 trips in all and was very proud of the fact that she never once lost a single person under her care. "I never ran my train off the track," she said, "and I never lost a passenger." At the time, Southern whites put a $12,000 price on her head. A fortune! By the start of the Civil War, she had brought more people out of slavery than any other American in history, black or white, male or female. Increasing respect. Tubman's reputation and influence commanded respect, and not just among slaves who dreamed of gaining their freedom. Influential Northerners of both races sought her out. She spoke at rallies and in homes throughout Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Boston, Massachusetts, St. Catharines, Canada, and Auburn, New York, where she eventually settled. People of prominence sought her out, such as Senator William Seward, who later became Abraham Lincoln's Secretary of State, and outspoken abolitionist and former slave Frederick Douglass. Tubman's advice and leadership were also requested by John Brown, the famed revolutionary abolitionist. Brown always referred to the former slave as General Tubman, and he was quoted as saying, "She was a better officer than most whom he had seen, and could command an army as successfully as she had led her small parties of fugitives." That is the essence of the law of respect. A test of leadership. Harriet Tubman would appear to be an unlikely candidate for leadership because the deck was certainly stacked against her. She was uneducated. She began life as a slave. She lived in a culture that didn't respect African Americans, and she labored in a country where women didn't have the right to vote yet. Despite her circumstances, she became an incredible leader. The reason is simple. People naturally follow leaders stronger than themselves. Everyone who came in contact with her recognized her strong leadership ability and felt compelled to follow her. That's how the law of respect works. That's how the law of respect works. It's not a guessing game. People don't follow others by accident. They follow individuals whose leadership they respect. People who are an 8 in leadership on a scale from 1 to 10, with 10 being the strongest. Don't go out and look for a 6 to follow. They naturally follow you at 9 or a 10. The less skilled follow the more highly skilled and gifted. Occasionally, a stronger leader may choose to follow someone weaker than himself. But when that happens, it's for a reason. For example, the stronger leader may do it out of respect for the person's office or past accomplishments. Or he may be following the chain of command in general, though followers are attracted to people who are better leaders than themselves. That is the law of respect. Little box. The more leadership ability a person has, the more quickly he recognizes leadership or its lack in others. When people get together for the first time in a group, take a look at what happens. As they start interacting, the leaders in the group immediately take charge. They think in terms of direction they desire to go and who they want to take with them. At first, people may make tentative moves in many different directions, but after the people get to know one another, it doesn't take long for them to recognize the strongest leader and start following them. 2 charts. Leaders go their own way when a group first comes together. See, 7, 5, 7, 10, 9. Then the lower numbers, 4, 2, 1, 3, 2, 4, they're not going anywhere. They're checking to see who they're going to follow. Soon people change direction to follow the strongest leaders. Here's a 10, 9 is following 10, 7 is following 10, 5 is following 10, 4 is following 10, 7 is following 10. People naturally align themselves and follow leaders stronger than themselves. Now, it goes from 1 to 4, 1, 2, 3, 2, 4, 4, 5, and basically they're in a little pyramid. Whoever is higher, 4, 5, 4, 7, 7, 9, and 10, they're all following upwards or a level higher than themselves. 10 is the highest, and 10 is still following up. Usually, the more leadership ability a person has, the more quickly he recognizes leadership or its lack in others. In time, people in the group get on board and follow the strongest leaders. Either that, or they leave the group and pursue their own agenda. I remember hearing a story that shows how people come to follow stronger leaders. It happened in the early 1970s when Hall of Fame basketball center Bill Walton joined Coach John Wooden. It happened in the early 1970s when Hall of Fame basketball center Bill Walton joined Coach John Wooden's UCLA team as a young man. Walton wore a beard. It has been said that the coach told Walton that UCLA players were not allowed to have facial hair. Walton, attempting to assert his independence, said that he would not shave off his beard. Wooden's no-nonsense response was, "We'll miss you, Bill." Needless to say, Walton shaved the beard. Gaining respect. What causes one person to respect and follow another? Is it because of the qualities of the leader? Is it due to a process the leader and follower engage in? Does it occur because of the circumstances? I believe all of those factors can come into play. Based on my observation and personal experience, here are the top 6 ways that leaders gain others' respect. Number 1, natural leadership ability. First and foremost is leadership ability. Some people are born with greater skills and ability to lead than others. All leaders are not created equal. However, as I've stated in the law of the lid and the law of process, every person can become a better leader. If you possess natural leadership ability, people will want to follow you. They will want to be around you. They will listen to you. They will become excited when you communicate vision. However, if you do not exhibit some of the additional practices and characteristics listed below, you will not reach your leadership potential and people may not continue to follow you. One of the greatest potential pitfalls for natural leaders is relying on talent alone. Little box. When people respect you as a person, they admire you. When they respect you as a friend, they love you. When they respect you as a leader, they follow you. Number 2, respect for others. Dictators and other autocratic leaders rely on violence and intimidation to get people to do what they want. That's not really leadership. In contrast, good leaders rely on respect. They understand that all leadership is voluntary. When leaders show respect for others, especially for people who have less power or a lower position than theirs, they gain respect from others, and people want to follow people they respect greatly. Gaining respect from others follows a pattern. When people respect you as a person, they admire you. When they respect you as a friend, they love you. When they respect you as a leader, they follow you. If you continually respect others and consistently lead them well, you will continue to have followers. Number 3, courage. One thing that caused everyone to respect Harriet Tubman so much was her tremendous courage. She was determined that she was going to succeed, or she was going to die trying. She didn't care about the danger. Her mission was clear, and she was absolutely fearless. Former U.S. Secretary of State Henry Kissinger remarked, "A leader does not deserve the name unless he is willing occasionally to stand alone. Good leaders do what's right, even at the risk of failure. In the face of great danger and under the brunt and relentless criticism, I can't think of even one great leader from history who was without courage. Can you? A leader's courage has great value. It gives followers hope." Success. Number 4. Success is very attractive. People are naturally drawn to it. It's one reason that people in our society are so focused on celebrities' lives, cheer for their favorite sports team, and follow the career of rock stars. Success is even more important when it applies to the people who lead us. People respect others' accomplishments, and it's hard to argue with a good track record. When leaders are successful in their own endeavors, people respect them. When they succeed in leading the team to victory, then followers believe they can do it again. As a result, followers follow them because they want to be part of the success in the future. Number 5, loyalty. We live in an era of free agency. Professional athletes hop from team to team looking for the best deal. CEOs negotiate ridiculously high financial packages and then bail out as millionaires when things go wrong. The average worker, according to one source, will change occupations 10 times by the time he reaches age 36. In a culture of constant change, turnover, and transition, loyalty is an asset. When leaders stick with the team until the job is done, remain loyal to the organization when the going gets rough, and look out for the followers even when it hurts them, Followers respect them and their actions.